tragedy is always there. You're not out of prison till you have.
Is always there. You're not out of prison till you happen. That was Suge Knight warning how dangerous prison can be. And now it's like he predicted his own fate. The death row founder was just stabbed in a violent prison attack, and sources say it's Tito, the secrets he's been exposing. What was he trying to reveal, and who tried to shit him up? Let's get into it. The attack that shocked hip-hop. Suge Knight is one of the most talked about figures in hip-hop history. But on one fateful night in June, he became just another inmate. It happened fast. One source said the lights in C Block were already out when, for reasons no one could explain, an inmate managed to hack Suge's cell and launched a violent attack. To really understand what happened that night in prison, y'all need to understand who Suge Knight was, not just to hip-hop, but to the entire underground world of American entertainment. He wasn't some small-time who stumbled into a record deal. Suge Knight was hip-hop's bogeyman, the on everyone feared, even at the top. Suge Knight was born and raised in. He started out as a football player, then moved into street work, acting as muscle for hire around LA. It was in the early 90s that he made his real mark. After teaming up with Dr. Dre, who had just left Eazy's Ruthless Records, Suge co-founded Death Row. What started as a small label quickly became the center of the West Coast rap scene, and Suge didn't build it by playing nice. Death Row wasn't just a label, it was a kingdom, and Suge was the one in charge. By 1994, Death Row was pulling in over $100 million a year. The label was on top off charts with artists like Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Nate Dogg, and Third Dog Pound. It was like the all-star team of West Coast hip-hop, but behind the success was violence. Former insiders say Suge ruled through fear and control. There were constant stories, off threats, fights, and intimidation. Onuf. The most infamous stories, Suge allegedly dangled Vanilla Ice over a hotel balcony during a money dispute. He was also known for showing up at clubs with a crew of 15 or more guys, shutting things.
I'm quite sure somebody taught him that, and that's more deep in the industry. You guys who got involved with a lot of people who was their mentors, instead of having a guy to mentor your own father, they was having these guys they mentors. And when that happens in the industry, it was done to them, they do to the next person. So
finally, the 2015 hit-and-run incident during the filming Golf Straight Out of Compton, where Suge ran over two men in his truck, killing Goni. That case earned him 28 years at Donovan.
Number one was Clyde Davis. And you got to understand one thing. If Death Row, when I started Death Row, you got to remember one thing. I didn't have no co-founder, nobody else. So I started that company on my own and grabbed Dr. Dre.
It was one phone call that lit the fuse for everything that followed. It was January 22-4 when Suge Knight, sitting inside J. Donovan Correctional Facility picked up a prison payphone and made a collect call that would set the entire hip-hop industry ablaze. The platform, the PBD podcast. Now, most...
He's definitely going to be the black man to hold the bag. Because you gotta realize one thing. That boy life is dangerous. His life isn't, he's just not dangerous with the shit they said he was doing, but he's in danger. He know too much.
That wasn't just some aging gangster running his mouth. That was a man who knew the secrets because he helped keep them.
He probably having a conversation right now with the higher-ups and everybody else to figure out how it's going to work itself out, because he know all the secrets. And if he get to running his mouth, it could be a bad look.
Random gossip. He named names, pulled receipts, and dared anyone to stop him. It started subtly with Suge reminiscing about death row in the old days, but then when the conversation shifted to the Diddy situation, Head dropped the first bomb. I'm quite sure somebody taught him that, and that's more deep in the industry. Guys who got involved with a lot of people who dementors. Instead of having guys to mentor your own father, they was having these guys they mentored. And when that happens in the industry, they was done to themty do to the next person. So, Diddy didn't just pick up those abibas on his own. He was taught cleanse that powerful
We heard
men
a thud,
in the
then two.
industry.
Then you could tell somebody
Diddy,
got hit bad because
and
all you
now
heard
as
was
a
the breathing
Diddy has
after.
become
No
the
yelling,
same
just that
Kindle
sound you make
figure
when your
who
ribs
once
go. They ain't want to make it
influenced
public.
later.
That
He
would have
took
been bad
aim
for
at one of
business.
the most powerful men in entertainment. Number one was Clyde Davis. Endu got to understand one thing. I've death fro when I started death. You gotta remember one thing. I didn't had no go climb and nobody else. I started that company on my own and grabbed .dre. If you know anything about you know the name Clyde Davison mentioned lightly, one of the most powerful execs in American music, Clyde Davis has launched careers Beauty dos Scandaloso. And as Suga alluded, Pickard who lives and who gets sacrificed. And if you thought that was the end of Suga's suicidal honesty, think again. Less than an hour later, he doubled down, accusing hip-hop's elite of conspiring to silence anyone who play by their rules, or worse, according to Suge. Even Diddy isn't, not because of what he's done, but because of what he knows. He's definitely going to be the black to hold back.
That's me, I think.
You got to realize one thing.
They ain't tripping. But if
that
you don't
boy,
stop the
life
cycle,
is dangerous.
it's going to keep
His
happening.
life, Andy, just not dangerous with the day-to-day was doing, but he's in danger. Heno, too much. That wasn't just some gangster running his mouth. That was a man who knew the secrets because helped keep them. He probably having a conversation right now with Thea Hyrups and everybody else to figure out how it's going, to work itself out. Because he know the secrets and I get to run his mouth. It could be a bad look. Sugi was talking about Diddy. But what he didn't realize was that running his own mouth might land him in trouble too. And then Ithapent. And they
When the
did.
bosses move
It
in
was
silence,
just
you don't
past
speak on it.
10:40
And this
p.m.
was one of them moves.
Inside Koblak Unit 5A TRJA Donovan Correctional Facility, a medium security prison sitting on the outskirts of San Diego. The yard was locked down, lights were dimmed, the usual end of night shuffle, inmates securing contraband, guards running checks, cells shutting in sequence, but something was off. According to a leaked statement from an anonymous corrections officer quoted by Hip Hop Unfiltered, one cell door remained unlocked. Longer than usual, it belonged to inmate number 395, Marion Hugh Suge Knight. That door shouldn't have been open more than 30 seconds. It stayed open for 2.5 minutes. That don't happen by accident. It was in that window that an unidentified inmate faced covered, gloved, hands slipped inside. Witness eyes in adjacent cells later told Vlad TV, we heard a thud, then two, then you could tell somebody got hit bad because Hollywood was the breathing after. Noiling.
Even when you speak on Snoop, people can say, well, are you picking on Snoop? Absolutely not. Snoop is picking on Snoop. Everybody say, Snoop, you had involvement in it. We're not trying to put you in prison. I don't want you to go to prison. Can't nobody put you in prison. You connected to those folks. And you Trump's little bitch. But why you just don't set the record straight?
Into the dark. The Camara's supposedly operational, cottonly static on that feed between 10:38 p.m. and 10:46 p.m. One correction source later admitted to Hip Hop DX that they ain't want to make it public. That will have been bad for business, bad for the feds, bad for everybody. And just like that, the king of death row lay beaten in his cell, blood on Thefler ribs cracked, face cut, and the system moved fast. Within the hour, Suge was moved to the medical unit. 3 known death row affiliates in Donovan were transferred or placed in solitary. The K-Block security log, 4th night, was wiped. Phone calls to external numbers were logged.
True story. Drake came to me because I'm not going to go into the situation what they was on about. It's stress. I said, well, something like that. It's like old Hollywood. You got to get married quickly. He wanted to marry this person. That person didn't want to. I can get this new person he married them. One day, Drake came to me and said, I'm never going to cuss on albums again. I'm never going to talk about women again. And he told me that he wanted to be white.
Big homie got touched. Shit's about to change. By now, it's Nose Kretchuya. Knight made more enemies than friends in his rise to power. But what most don't realize is how long some of those grudges have lasted and who still holds them today. Diddy, Clyde Davis.
So when every time we get there, the guard calls up. He says, Easy up here for Dre. Let him up. And Easy at the door. You know what's up there? He said, that's Dre. So he walks in the studio. You see me, you see a few people. We start talking. I said, man, he ain't coming, but I'm going to talk to you about it. I showed him the pictures of all the artists I had on one piece and the 3 I had on another piece. I was like...
In Knight's version of events, Eazy-E was being played by Dr. Dre, who was secretly working to destroy his former partner while pretending to maintain their friendship. The emotional impact of this betrayal on Eazy-E was devastating.
I seen one of the saddest things I ever seen in a man. I'm looking at Eazy, Eric, like, he said, I bought a car, I did all this for him, he wanted me, he didn't do nothing. And it's like he trying to hold back the tears because he don't want to be embarrassed by me seeing him crying. Because he crying because he's scared or he crying because he hurt. But for another man...
But perhaps the most chilling part of Knight's Eazy-E story is what happened next. According to Knight, Dr. Dre was secretly planning violence against his former partner.
When Andre answered the phone, I'm talking to him. I said, he getting ready to come up here now. What you want done again? He was like, man, shoot that head, blow his head off, shoot him in the eye, take pictures of it. You don't got one of those things, you know, blah, 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 for a phone shit, you know. Get one of those portable cameras and let me see it, I want to see it, you know, blah, blah, blah.